Here's Corin. All right, you stay here. We're gonna go interview Brianna. Okay, so you stay here, all right, Winston? You stay. You stay and you be a good boy. We'll be right back, okay? We'll be right back. All right, we'll be right back. Going to interview Brianna. Brianna. What's up, fellas? Here we go. Brianna! All right. I made it! We made it!
Yay!
Okay, we're gonna go in and have a chat. We are live here. Let me get this thing set up real quick. Otherwise it's gonna flop down. There we go. Perfect. What's up, Brianna?
Not much.
Give me a high five.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. We're here. We are with Brianna. How long of well, first of all, this is what I like to do is what was the name that your parents gave you when you were born?
Brianna Randall.
Brianna Randall.
Yeah.
No middle name, no nickname.
Brianna Karen Randall, nickname what? Baggy. I don't know where that came from.
What was it?
Baggy.
Baggy?
Baggy.
Honestly, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, my nickname was Corky growing up, Corky. My grandmother gave it to me because I was a real corkster, a real quirky kid, a real, you know,
I think part of it was
probably annoying is probably what she really wanted to call me.
her brother couldn't pronounce her name, so
Oh.
it's kind of what I called her.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So, where are you from originally?
Bangor, Maine. Old Town, Maine.
Oh, really?
Born in Bangor, lived in Old Town. Moved around New England for a bit.
Oh, and it's so beautiful up there in that part of the country, especially. Were you in a larger town, smaller town, or
Yeah.
small towns?
Mhm.
And like how small? Like how many kids went to your junior high or?
My first school was K through 12.
Oh wow.
It was on the reservation.
Oh okay. Are you part Native American Indian?
Yep, I'm quarter Penobscot.
Really? So and you actually lived on and went to reservation school?
I didn't live on the reservation until I was in college, and then during the summers when I was growing up. But I did go to school on the reservation for a few years.
Oh, okay. And what was it like going to school on the reservation?
Very small.
Really?
Yeah, it was a very small school. Very small classes. There weren't a whole lot of us in class.
Did you have good teachers?
Mostly.
Yeah.
From what I remember, yeah.
During that time period, you know, obviously your parents are still together, which is wonderful, and you know, I find that it's hard to find people nowadays whose parents are still together. I myself am part of that over 50% divorce rate, you know, but. Do you think that having your parents together, obviously it seems to be in a very good relationship with one another, was that beneficial to you growing up, having both of them around?
Yeah. I mean, I had influences from both of them my entire life. They were there to help take care of me and support me, and I didn't have to move around. I mean, my daughter moves around between me and my ex, so I'm kind of part of that.
Yeah.
Part of that as well, except we were never married. But yeah, I think having both of them around has been really beneficial because I've always had the male and female role model in my life.
Yeah, I know, and that's so fantastic because that's come up a few times in different interviews. Is just the, you know, especially with some of the guys that I've interviewed, you know, not having, and I know from my own personal experience, you know, not having a really strong male role model for me certainly had an effect to a certain to a degree, but So when you lived in a small town like that, what was life like for you growing up in terms of the freedoms you had going out? Like what would you do? What would you and your friends do?
It was mostly me and my brothers that hung out between them and my older brother. We all went out on trails out in the woods. We went and played out in the woods. We rode bikes to our grandparents' house. Just wandered around the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
It was quiet, and it was fun because there was a lot to explore.
Yeah. I loved growing up. I grew up playing in the woods a lot too, and I think that had a really profound effect on me in the long run in terms of my relationship to nature. Do you think that that growing up in that kind of a natural environment with lots of outdoor space and places to go like that, what kind of effect do you think that may have had on you over time, if anything?
Well, I definitely don't like living in big cities
Mm.
at all. This is the busiest I will tolerate. And even here, it's a little too busy. There's people so close by.
Oh yeah.
Um, we've My hope is to get into Lampasas and to be out in the open, because since I grew up like out in the open, out in the woods, out in nature, basically that's where I prefer to be.
Yes, me too. I agree. And no, I mean obviously because I'm not going to get too personal about it, but it seems having some type of immune compromised situation, being in an environment like that seems like it would also lead to having less stress and anxiety as well, just to, for you maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not around as many people, so I don't have to worry about, this whole coronavirus.
Yeah.
When I'm out there,
Yeah, it's great.
there's no one around.
Exactly. It's wonderful. When did you guys leave the Northeast and head this way?
2015.
Oh,
the end of the
so
year.
not that long ago.
Nope.
Do you miss the Four Seasons?
I missed the 3 seasons.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Not the fourth one. It was 6 months of winter.
Really, 6
Yes,
months?
Just about. It was October to April.
They had snow until late April and early May.
You're kidding.
Yep. I definitely don't miss it.
No, I bet not. I mean, but how did you adjust to this Texas humidity?
I love it.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not as humid down here as it is next to the ocean, because we live like 30 minutes from the ocean. So during the
Oh.
summer, it was insanely humid.
Really, way up there.
Hmm.
That's so strange. Whenever I think of the Pacific Northeast, I don't picture humidity is not the first thing that comes to mind when I think of it. But
It's not as hot. It gets maybe 80, 90 degrees tops, but it is insanely humid.
when you were so did you go to college up there as well and all of that, or did you skip college? I didn't go to college, so I don't have any hang-ups about that.
I went for a couple of years.
Uh-huh.
Well, over the course of 4 years, I went a total of 2 years.
What was your, for instance, when you were in high school or junior high or high school range, did you, was there something that you were trying to do, and like, did you have an idea of what you wanted to become and do, or?
I wanted to go into psychology,
Hmm.
and I did do my gen ed requirements in college, and then I started in on psychology, but I got pregnant and had to leave,
Right.
because I went to the University of Maine, and the reservation covers my tuition there. So I wasn't able to go back up to campus after I had my daughter.
Of course.
So
Yeah, those, how old's your daughter now?
she's 10.
Ah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I mean, I love my kids so much. My daughter's 25, my son's 15 now. But I mean, I miss them being around even that age a lot. There was, they like to hang out with me back then. Now, once they're like teenage age, it's like, hang out with dad. What's that about?
I know, I'm dreading that age, because she absolutely loves hanging out with me.
Yes.
Like when I'm working, and if I do any overtime, she gets upset with me. She's like,
Okay.
"Mom, we have to hang out." And even when she's up with her dad right now in New
Yeah.
Hampshire, but she still wants to play Minecraft.
Oh, that's so
online.
cool. That's so great.
We
I see
video
it.
chat frequently.
Yeah, when I was out in LA, my son was in Texas. We used to play Pirate 101 together. It was an online pirate game, and you could, and I'd run around with him and do stuff, and it was a lot of fun. It really is interesting how technology, the advancement of it, has in ways brought us closer together in that respect. Being able to chat with your daughter and play games with her from far away. but at the same time, it also feels like technology has split us apart in a lot of ways too. Oddly
Yeah.
enough, how long have we known each other on social media?
Um, Twitter, I think, has been about 4 years. No, 5 years. Right
That
around
sounds about right.
2015.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then I met you in Waxahachie.
Yeah.
I had Bridget with me.
The old Waxahachie show.
Yeah.
He's well, obviously not right now. He's not, but I mean, I know that he had still attempted to, to do another one of those on because it was a great idea, great location, very well run event.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, just didn't get the amount of people through the door that he needed. For me, these kind of moments, having an opportunity to sit down and meet people from social media in real life it's important, and that's why I love doing the conventions a lot as well. Being able to get out and actually glad hand and get to know people. When you had to transition out of college to do the mom thing, which is obviously a very important thing to do. uh, was that tough though to make that transition and let go of what you were studying?
Yeah, it was hard. I wasn't like, I wasn't extremely disappointed about being pregnant. It wasn't planned, but I wasn't disappointed. It's something that I wanted to do eventually. But it was still hard to leave school and not be able to finish my bachelor's degree and,
Yeah.
pursue what I wanted to.
Yes, absolutely. And so what was in terms of like what was your next option after that? What was being in that conundrum? How did you work your way out of it? That's what I'm getting. Like, how did you figure out a way to still pursue something for you while being a great mother?
I did. I tried to do a lot of daytime jobs where she had a sitter and I could, be with her as much as possible in the evenings and weekends. A lot of what I did was food services, so that didn't always work out. But then I got into office jobs, and that worked out tremendously.
Do you prefer the stability of office type jobs?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It gives me the opportunity to work during the day when she's at school, and then I have nights and weekends with her. We can go off and do whatever. She has scouts every Tuesdays. We go to our scout meetings and
Oh, that's great.
take time off to go camping with all the scouts.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Has your work been affected over the last 6 months or so? In terms of have you been furloughed or?
There was a month where I was furloughed partially. I was only doing 25 out of 40 hours a week. That was hard. Not just financially for a little bit until unemployment kicked in, but
Right.
also just emotionally because it was stressful.
That I can relate to. Yeah, because I wasn't able to qualify for unemployment due to my gig worker status and not working in the state enough, and all kinds of other. I reapplied 3 times after things when I realized that my business wasn't going to be going back anytime soon. That's when I panicked enough because I've actually never filed for unemployment my entire life because I just didn't ever want anything from the state, really.
Yeah.
So for my first time doing it, I was like, I've worked since I was 12 years old professionally. Here I am in my late 40s, and I've probably paid how many amounts of taxes or whatever. I know it comes from the state, but and they don't have a state income tax in Texas, which is great. But then to suddenly go, oh, wow, I can't get unemployment when I finally needed it. It was rough. So I understand completely that stress.
Yeah.
Working through that stress, though, do you think that that's made you a stronger person?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those lows that you just have to grow from.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to take it as it comes and just try and work through it.
Yeah. And you grew up but you grew up in the I guess it would be the 90s mid to late '90s when you were kind of in your preteen years, teen years, kind of something like that.
Yeah.
One sec, we got an Amber Alert coming through. Those are important. I always check them just in case. Either that or it's a tornado. No, no worries at all. No worries at all.
My friend Lindsay keeps calling me.
Oh yeah, it's whenever you have something to do is when the phone starts ringing and everything
Yeah.
starts buzzing and people start trying to get in touch with you.
Well,
It always happens.
She's the one that I was supposed to meet after this, and I tried calling her to see what we were doing,
Oh.
and she didn't call me back, and now she's calling me back. She's like, okay, we need to talk. I'm like, I can't.
Well, we won't make it too long. I'm still trying, getting used to this format. This is new for me, as like it is for you. But it is exciting because what I want is for, like the people out there that we've interacted with on Twitter and everything. That it's hard to get to know anybody on social media within 160 characters, especially when it's so random. There's so much randomity on there. So I love to put a real character to the online character. That yeah. Do you? I know my feed is kind of crazy and wacky, but I have some great friendships that have developed on there and great interactions and everything. Aw. I love the little kitty.
That's Ruby. That's the one I tripped over earlier.
She's so sweet looking. She's just a baby. She can come in and say hello. Look at that. Oh.
Ruby?
Hi, Rubes. Aren't you precious? Oh my gosh, you are so cute.
She is my emotional support animal in training.
And she is a perfect one. Look at her. Oh my gosh, she is precious. I love the way their pads feel.
Yeah.
They have such silky little soft pads when they're babies.
She's like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, she does.
Right.
She's like, sees a dust bunny down. She's like, I'll get it. No, I'll get this instead. So when you were growing up in that time period versus now, do you think that there's any kind of significant difference to the way life seems in America today versus how it was when we were younger? Do you feel like there's any significant difference? And I'm not talking about a political thing or anything like that, but just more of like kind of the cultural norms that I feel like I probably took for granted as a kid.
Yeah.
Do you see any kind of shift that's happened at all?
I've noticed that it's a lot less personal now.
Mm.
Back when I was growing up, we didn't have texting, landlines. You didn't know who was calling, so it's not like you could just pick up the phone and say, "Oh, hey, I heard," know who was calling, and as far as hanging out with friends, like you would have to drive over their house or ride your bike over their house, and you would actually hang out in person. That's the biggest thing, is you would hang out in person. You wouldn't have video chat, you wouldn't have texting, you wouldn't have social media to rely on to keep up with these people. You would have to physically go and see them.
And one of the other things that came up in some of the conversations was the level of kind of like safety that people seem to feel. Like when I was growing up, we would go to the grocery store in Georgia. My mom wouldn't even take her keys out of the car. We just park, go grocery shopping, come out. I mean, it was in the mid-late 70s, but there was just a difference. I don't know. It just felt.
It was less crazy.
Less crazy.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
My brothers and I used to go bike riding all over the place. Like, especially me and my twin used to go bike riding from one grandmother to the other, like for miles. And
at a young age, too, right?
And no one ever said anything. We were preteen. No one ever said anything. We'd go wandering around Indian Island, and no one said anything.
Is that what Indian Island? That sounds like a Hardy Boys mystery book. the Legend of Indian Island.
Yep, that's the reservation that my grandmother lives on. We spent summers up there with her, learning how to make baskets.
Is it an island?
Yep.
Oh, it is. Is it off the coast, or is it or is it kind of a river island, or is it a, I don't
It,
know.
it's right near Bangor. It's central Maine. It's in the middle of the Penobscot River.
Okay. How big is it?
Not very big. Was it like a square mile,
It's a
Mom?
1 square mile island.
Wow.
Yep. So my grandmother would have us up for the summers, and we would learn how to make baskets. It's kind
Okay.
of a tradition that was handed down to
Oh,
us.
these are the baskets.
Yep. This.
Oh, no
was-
way.
is
Look
that
at these.
Nanny's basket, Mom?
Yes.
Your grandmother
No,
made.
isn't that your basket?
This one?
Maybe
Let's
it's
see.
Nanny's.
No,
This
this
is.
is Nanny's.
I mean, this is hand. I mean, I can't even imagine how you could make this. Oh, that's the island. Okay, let's see. This is what the island looks like. It's just it's a river island. That's what I was thinking of. It's just so. I would love to go there. I would love to go there and check it out. And the whole island is a reservation, and people live on it and everything, huh?
Yep, they
That's
currently
fantastic.
have it shut off to white people.
Okay.
Outsiders.
Yeah, outsiders.
Outsiders,
Nobody's
sure.
allowed on the island who isn't a tribal member because of COVID-19.
Especially not tourists.
Well. Had they only shut us Europeans out a little bit longer back,
But then
it might not just be an island that you're on, but
I wouldn't be here.
That's true. That's true. That's true. No, I mean, life is like that. Was that? In all honesty, the tragedy of the Native American peoples in this country, to me, is the greatest stain on on our history as a country.
Yeah.
To me, and it's completely and totally neglected as a mainstream topic. I don't see a lot of people who do seem to share some fundamental anger for a system that is, corrupted and not fair to the lower classes of all races. It's not a fair system to the lower classes for sure. But that destruction of literally basically an entire peoples from one end of the country to the other, where even now in this time and this day and age there's places called reservations. I mean, that's just wild to me. So what was it like growing up as a Native American Indian in America?
There was some bullying in school when we moved from the reservation to the school across the river in Milford. There was some bullying there, but aside from that school, I didn't really notice any animosity at all.
Well, that's good. We were talking about this too. Sometimes the smaller town schools can be worse for bullying because there's no escape in the throngs of people. Like my high school I went to in Hollywood, in North Hollywood, 5,000 students almost in the school, from grade 10 to 12. So it's like a small city. And if you didn't want to know anybody and didn't want anybody to know you, you could easily just vanish, within the social structure of the school. Did you find that you kind of hung out mostly with other people who were part Native American Indian or not? Was there kind of a cliquish thing to that when you were younger, or?
Well, in where we were located, most of the Native American students went to the reservation. So when we moved to a different school, there wasn't that many people who were Native American.
Right.
It was mostly Caucasian kids.
Yeah. And that being said, when did you start learning how to do the weaving? Is that a tradition from your tribe and
Yep.
and like a sacred tradition or?
Yep.
Or okay.
Yeah, it's been handed down over the generations. I started when I was 12. Yeah, I was 12 when I started learning.
And who taught you?
My grandmother.
That's so
Yep,
beautiful.
She made these two baskets.
Okay, so let's trade this real quick. Let me just get a nice close up. Look at how well made this is. I mean, it's so tightly bound and so intricately woven, and these almost like hoop earrings that hang on the side give it real great character and some life to it, and inside is a glass vase that it's stitched around, so it will hold, you know, a liquid or maybe a little plant or even a candle or something, and the is it wicker, or what would you call this?
It's
This is
brown ash.
brown ash,
And sweetgrass.
brown ash and sweetgrass. Yeah, so it wouldn't get damaged by what you put inside. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And then this one is also one that she made, and you see it just lightly. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, that's a great stick too. It fits really nicely, and it opens up very softly, and you can see the edging here, which protects it when on the seal there, so it gives it a longer shelf life. I mean, the craftsmanship is just fantastic. And then this is one you made?
Yes. This
There
is
we
one
go.
I made in 2009.
Look at that. And this is again, and you have to actually sew this around the glass jar that's inside. You do
Yes.
all the stitching around it, or what do you call it? Weaving. The
Weaving.
weaving around it. Yes. That is. How long did it take you to do this particular one?
I'm going to be honest, I don't remember. It's
No?
been so long.
I
That
mean,
one,
it's-
I don't believe took me a terribly long time.
Really?
But baskets like this, these are made around blocks. And these ones take these ones take hours
Really?
to do. Yeah.
Oh, but so if you're an expert or master weaver, so to speak, you could make something like this within a day, though.
Yep.
Oh,
And
okay.
just a few
Oh,
hours.
oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. And I would imagine that some of this stitching could be done tight enough to carry water, if you needed, for a short distance.
Probably not for
Not
these
No?
ones.
usually, they will make more items like this.
Oh, is that a leather
This is.
or a bark? Birch bark.
This is
Yeah.
birch
Oh,
bark.
you're kidding me. Look at
This
this.
is one of our tribal members made this and used tea to do all of the decorations on it because it's white birch.
There's a bear. You see a bear in there. You got the wolf. Then you got some trees and some leaves. And it looks like an eagle right there. Oh, the eagle is gorgeous. The feathers are just really, really soft. And then a nice moose. And this is this a kind
That's
of
a loon.
a loon? Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking specifically loon, but I was thinking a crane type of bird or something like that.
It's
Is
a duck. It's a water bird.
it's a water bird,
Yeah.
okay. But is it one of the ones with the long legs, or is it
Nope,
just regular
no,
duck
he's
legs?
kinda
Little
duck-sized.
flipper feet.
Yep.
Okay.
It's kind of duck-sized.
Very,
They sit
very.
a little lower
Are
in
they
the water.
colorful? Do they have like kind of the bright colors on
No,
the sides?
they
right?
have black heads.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, black and white mostly.
Yeah, they're-
I mean, on the inside,
Ignore the junk.
yes. Well, I mean, there's a lot of champagne and wine being drank in there. But you can see the actual original birch bark from the exterior. So I imagine they must have had to soak this and get this really wet, and
Yes.
then shape it
Yep,
and then let it dry.
Steams it and then
Steams it.
shapes it and puts the stitching in it to hold it.
I mean, the
and then lets it
functionality
dry.
of this is incredible.
Oh yeah.
To make this out of bark, it's just incredible.
For me, it's decoration. For other tribal members, they get baskets from him that they use to collect fiddleheads, which are just ferns that haven't matured yet.
Okay, okay.
A lot of
They-
the technique you see in that basket is what they used to make their birch bark canoes.
Oh, right,
Yep.
the canoe work. Sure. Would
they-
you have a canoe here too that we can take
Not
a look
birch
at?
bark. We have an old town canoe, but we don't have a birch bark one. They are incredibly expensive because they're handmade,
Oh, yes, I imagine so. I imagine so.
but they're beautiful.
Now, do you still do any of the weaving at all? Is it?
I haven't in
No?
a few years. I have all of the material upstairs though.
Well, I think it's about time you get back to doing some weaving. It looks
Yeah.
like it's a fun. I wouldn't mind learning how to do it if I had the time. Having being Native American Indian, and obviously, you know, when you think of the culture that we have today in the U.S. and sort of the amalgamation of all of these different cultures that have all melted together. I mean, do you think that we're hopefully possibly headed in a successful direction, or are we looking like we might be moonwalking here?
I would say moonwalking.
Yeah. That said, which gets to I think the kind of the last little wrap up we'll do, which because I love hearing people's advice. Like, what do you think that we could do, even on a small scale? What kind of advice might you give to us to help these walls and barriers that are starting to be put back up that I thought were gone for good, to be honest, or at least on their way out to being gone for good, but I was wrong. But do you have anything that just comes to mind, or a free flowing thought?
I would say the best thing to do is to not give hateful people the time of day, not to put them on TV or not to put them on social media. Just ignore them.
That, yes, because
They're teaching people. That's what they're teaching people. If you put them out into the world, is they're teaching people that it's okay to be like that, and it's not.
it's not, and it's funny because when you said it's okay to be like that, I had a flash in my mind because being an artist, I think in a lot of times in symbols and in signs and stuff, and I pictured somebody holding up a sign at a protest that says okay to hate, and that's what pops in my mind. I'm thinking that's just horrible. It's just a horrible thought that it seems to be this kind of hatred, which is a good word. It's a strong word, and it's a word that really reverberates. It seems like it's almost becoming trendy,
And that's awful.
right?
It's really awful. I don't even, I block people on social media who speak like that, and I don't even pay attention to them.
Yeah, if I started blocking people on social media just for that, I'd probably be better off. But people would probably get mad at me because there'd be a lot to block. But yeah, because for me, being a public figure, I don't feel that it's for me to do that. Although I've been tempted, and like I've said before, the only people that I block, are people that I'm sure are bots and not real people, or are just programmers who are just out there just to counter narratives or do whatever,
Yeah.
or people who post licentious images, shall we say, on my feed. That's a huge no for me.
Yeah.
So spread the brotherly love, basically, is kind of the message I get from what you're saying,
Basically.
and stop the hate. Spread the brotherly love, stop the hate, and we can do this together, and it'll all be great. So great to meet you, Brianna.
Same
It's
here.
just so awesome, and I'm glad that we get to introduce you to some folks out there. And besides, you don't need to see what we look like anyway, because you're only going to see us on Twitter, and all you got to do is just look at that little icon right there, and that will be our faces.
Yep.
Thank you again so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And I have some photos and stuff in the car. I'll bring some photos in, and if you want an autograph, if you don't, that's fine too. We can take pictures together and do all of that
Would
kind
I
of
ever
stuff.
say no?
Okay, cool. I love it. I'll go and grab them and bring them in, and we'll do that.
Okay.
And we'll catch up with you all later. Cheers. Okay, a quick catch up here because I thought that the interview was over, but she has my spirit animal here for me, the hedgehog, and it's a tie, which I will obviously never remove the tag because it will lose all value. But this is the greatest gift ever. It's my spirit animal, the hedgehog. I love you, Hedgie. Love you so much. It's my driving. He's gonna be my driving pal. He's gonna sit up on the dashboard with us the whole way. You'll see him again. We'll get him on film. Yay!
My kitten will be glad he's gone.